actually Susan's last meeting presiding over us as district clerk. She retired from Secretary of Superintendent in June, but stayed on an extra 6 months to help Dr. Turnow transition and help us just move everything over to the new secretary. And on a personal note, Susan and I met many years ago when our children were young at a bunco party. And I didn't run into Susan again until she was district clerk. I never thought I'd be on the board, and then I became a board member, and Susan is the most presider over the entire district. She gets everything done. She does everything for the board. She is meticulous, she is dedicated, she is honest, she is loyal. She is keeps us on our toes. She chases after a lot of us to finish our duties and our responsibilities as far as getting training from NISBA and that. She reminds us of everything. She also prepares every single meeting. She prepares all of our pre and post execs. If there's any food, sometimes our meetings last 8 or 9 hours long, and she's there. She makes sure that she's got food and drink for us. And we were just in the back kind of talking that she lived through the COVID years. And it was not easy as a district clerk because it was the first time that any district ever had to do their entire election via mail. And it was quite a feat. She executed it beautifully. We were kind of just, laughing about it and lamenting about it. Yeah, never want to forget that. But she, she was presented, that's just Susan, she was presented with the impossible, and she was able to come through with everything. So Susan, I'm going to ask, there's a few people that want to speak to you about you as well. And I'm going to introduce, I think, Janine or Tony? You guys? Okay. I'm going to pass it over to Tony, but from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of this school board of Locust Valley, we wouldn't have survived without you. And you're leaving us in good hands, and you've trained a great new district clerk, and we're just so grateful. Thank you so much.
Susan began working as a district clerk as a part-timer in 2008. A few years later, in 2013, Susan became a full-timer and assumed the responsibilities of the assistant to the superintendent of schools. Sitting outside that door for 10 years, Susan has truly heard it all. In the dual position of district clerk and superintendent's assistant, she has had her finger on the pulse of everything that goes on in this district. Never in all those years has Susan violated the confidentiality of both positions, nor has she discussed sensitive matters outside of the circle where they belong. She is ever conscious that she was the gatekeeper to the most private and the most public matters that occur in the district. Susan is a loyal Locust Valley resident with 2 children who went through the schools here. She was an active parent council leader for several years and is always concerned about the direction and the fate of the district as an employee, a parent, and a resident. We always counted on Susan to be knowledgeable about and remind us of the proper protocols, procedures, and timelines, which are many, related to school governance. She is very organized, conscientious, reliable, and efficient. On a personal note, we have shared some very trying situations here, and I thank Susan for our friendship and support throughout it all. She has been truly dedicated to the district for many years, and a familiar, welcoming face to many employees and residents. Thank you.
Just a quick thank you, Susan. You really made me feel welcome in a very interesting year last year. So I appreciate all of your guidance and your friendship. And I wish you the best and have a wonderful retirement. So my first day, I met Susan, and she told me I'm retiring. And I said, oh geez, when? She said, tomorrow. And I went, oh, but I really like you.
but Susan has been amazing, and especially with my transition, highly organized, shows me where all the folders are, and she's really been here to support our new secretary to the superintendent, Allison Dunn. And unfortunately, Allison had a little under the weather, but you've been miraculous in so many ways, and we keep telling her she's not really leaving. We're kind of keeping her around for some special projects. But that really goes to her institutional knowledge. And that's something that we all respect, and your friendship has been wonderful. And I really appreciate everything you do for us. Especially, yeah, finding a nail salon, yes, many things. Thank you, Susan.
Susan Michelle orchestrated a gift from the Board of Education.
Well, I'm not going to say a whole bunch, because I have nothing prepared. It's been an interesting 15 years as district clerk and secretary to the superintendent. I've been through about 4 or 5 superintendents and interims. They've all been wonderful in their own ways. Well, not all. In their own ways. The people in the administration building have been wonderful. I've gotten to know like every single principal as they've come along. Again, my kids went to school here. They did very well. They're very successful careers right now. My son's a CPA and my daughter's a speech language pathologist. So I appreciate the district and the education that they got here. I love this community, and it was time for me to retire, but again, I just can't retire. I am going to stay on. Allison Dunn, who's the new secretary to the superintendent, has graciously taken on the role of district clerk. I'll probably be helping her with the budget vote, because that's quite a project, and staying again on to help with the policy committee and a few things like that. So I can't, I can never just really leave. Maybe by June 30th, I'll really be retired. Maybe. But again, and I thank the community. We go through that budget vote every year, and that's a big production, and we make it through every year and pass the budget and take good board members on. So thank you all. I really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Can we please rise for the pledge? Susan, is there any public comment?
Okay. Yeah, I don't see it here on the.
You gotta go to this.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Session is on.
I do not reference it.
It's after the executive session.
Good evening. I want to just bring up a couple of the policies that are on the agenda for this evening. Specifically, I wanted to just ask.
Laura, just wait 1 second. We have a public hearing for the policies. So do we have to hold this? Yeah. We have a first
Well,
reading.
it's the first reading.
So do we hold the comments to then, or? You can do the comments, you can say your speech now, but I'm not going to answer until we get to the policies, if that's okay.
Whatever you want.
I
I'm more
think
than happy to wait.
You can open it up for public comment. For public
Yeah, because that's what we
discussion
usually do.
after we discuss.
Yeah, I think it's more appropriate there, is that okay?
That's perfect.
Okay, great, thank you. Just so then it's all continuous.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
We don't have any students here this evening.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
You're not at the desk. Hi,
I know.
Ashley. How are you guys? Hey, Maddie, come on up for your report.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here tonight. We'd like to start off our report by congratulating the young musicians from the elementary schools on their wonderful winter concerts and wish luck to those who have yet to perform. The high school winter concert is happening tomorrow night and we can't wait to see all of the performances.
Our high school lip sync event is coming up on December 20th. This is a night full of fun, performing groups to pick a song and come up with a routine as elaborate as they wish. Oftentimes, costumes and props are involved. We love to see our high school students get creative. It is open to all grades and all proceeds go to the class of 2024. We are so excited to see what everyone brings to the stage.
Earlier this week, high school student government officers took a trip to the Bayville and Locust Valley elementary schools to teach them about leadership and what qualities make a good leader. It was so much fun getting to work with the young leaders of our school district, and we wish them all the best of luck if they decide to continue with the student government path.
Lastly, progress reports will be released in the student portal on December 21st for any students who would like to check in on their grades and assignments before going on holiday break.
Thank you for your time. We wish you all a happy holiday season and hope you all get the chance to spend some time with friends and family. Thank you.
Thank you, girls. And we're going to move over to the superintendent's report, and I think we're having,
We're gonna switch.
we're going to switch things around.
Just based on
Okay.
age, we realized that our music student recognition was third, but since they're a little bit younger and we do want them to get to bed on time, we're gonna invite them up first. And Dr. Sampino is going to actually read the report. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm not Mrs. Bonaspina. Mrs. Bonaspina is unfortunately homesick, and I got the call to come in and fill in, but I'm thrilled to do so. Always when we're honoring our students, and it's so good to see everybody here tonight, so thank you. So this is from Mrs. Bonaspina, okay? Hello and good evening. My name is Janine Sampino, and I'm speaking on behalf of Anne-Marie Bonaspina. I would like to thank Dr. Turnow, the Board of Education, the community, parents, and students for having me here tonight to celebrate the accomplishments of some of our truly exceptional student artists. This evening, it is my pleasure to introduce a number of our high school art students who have had their work featured in remarkable ways. Students, as I call your name, please come forward so you can be recognized. And if I mess up your name, please let me know. I want to truly honor you, and I'll do my best, okay? First, we will recognize 4 students who have had their artwork selected and displayed in the 2023 Nassau County High School Art Student Juried Art Competition and Exhibition. This exhibit was on display during the month of November at the Art Guilds of Port Washington. Our first student to be recognized is Victoria Alessi and her work, Bedside. Next one?
Yep.
There you go. Oh, wow. Sorry about that. They're stunning. Gianna Castiglione, her work, Pelvis. Annie Germans, and her work, Blessings in Disguise, displayed at this exhibit. Next is Thomas Rutherford and his work, Old Man. Finally, Olivia Wilde and her work, Hanging On by a Stem. The New York State Schools Board Association Student Art Exhibit is displayed at their annual convention in Buffalo. This exhibit is presented by New York State Art Teachers Association, and the following slides are from their featured exhibit. William did I skip one?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. First, I'd like to call up Annemie Germans for her work, Blessings in Disguise. Next, William Koch and his work, Captured. And finally, Kyle Brown and his piece, Stages of Myself. Congratulations to Annemie, William, and Kyle for being featured in this impressive exhibit. Finally, we have 5 students whose art pieces have been selected by the Cornell Cooperative Extension of Nassau County and will be featured in the 2024 gardening calendar, which I have a copy of, which is wonderful. Thank you, Mrs. Moran. First, we have Victoria Alessi. Molly Bowden. Gianna Castiglione. Anime Germans. And Angeline Gogoris. Did I pronounce that right? All of these extraordinary artists, the artistic feats would not have been possible without the vision, mentorship of the Locust Valley art teachers. As you look around the mini theater, you will see student artwork displayed from all different levels. Thank you to Mrs. Melanie Mooney, Mr. Tom Camilleri, Ms. Hannah Niles, Ms. Donna Chaplin, and Mrs. Dana Ettinger for all of their hard work. And I want to thank Mrs. Bonaspina. She does an amazing job for our coordinator of the arts, technology, and music. And we are going to be treated to an amazing performance by Mrs. Kelly and some students today. And I will tell you, it never gets old. Every time I walk into a building and I hear our students sing or perform, it just brightens my day. And I told the students as I was walking out from a meeting, and you get tired and then you hear them sing, it just makes your night. So I thank them so much for coming. And just so you know, once they're done and we have a little break, then our students can leave because I know it's a late night. And I'm so excited to hear them. So thank you so much, everybody.
Jenny, just if the little ones can leave, but if we would love everyone else to stay because we have a presentation of some high school students.
We have more presentations
more
to come. The
presentations,
little
so
ones,
stick up.
they can go. But I also just wanted to wish everybody a very happy holiday. And again, thank you all for coming and your support. And did you want to say something?
Good evening. I'm Kathy Riley, principal of Locust Valley Intermediate, with my colleague Jen Farrell. We just want to introduce these students up here that we're so proud of for entertaining you tonight. To get you excited for and to celebrate our winter concert season, we have a special featured performance this evening from some of our elementary students. Joining us from LVI, Gwen Piera, Eloise Burches, and Vivian Worley.
Intermediate, we have Michaela Blau and Isabella Skelly. Under the direction of Ms. Nicole Kelly, they will be performing
Santa is the Man.
Santa is the Man, which is one of the pieces that they are performing next week at their elementary concerts. So,
Santa's the man and he's
I'm not sure how it's teed up, I'm just not sure. Which one do you want to do? I was thinking I was going to talk about the Normandy contest, but I don't know how the slides are. There we go. Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's easy. I'm just going to speak about it. So this is really exciting. I just wanted to give you a little bit background before we announce the winners of the Normandy contest. So just to give you a backdrop, Patton Legacy Sports offered this opportunity for our students here at Locust Valley because of the Remembrance Bowl to host 2 female seniors, 2 male seniors, and also 2 of our football players to go to St. Marguerite in Normandy, France during the 80th D-Day celebration. I mean, it's unbelievable. And these students, we got to meet with them, I think it was on Friday. Dr. Turner, Mr. DiClemente, and myself sat down with the students, and we really just went through what their week is going to look like for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. I'm very excited. With that said, I just wanted to read just a couple of highlights for you, just so you can, I think, conceptualize what's going to happen at the 80th. They're going to have, obviously, the anniversary D-Day celebration. They're also going to have Lejeune jumps. There's going to be many activities. The students, as we know, are going to be extremely busy when they're there. They don't have too much downtime. They did ask if they could shop. But we said, you'll get a little bit. I did preview Sonny Savrio, and I saw each other the other day in the high school library, and he was so excited, and he said, Dr. Turner, I have to show you the pictures of the Patton Legacy House. It says in here, it's a dorm. It is exquisite. It is not a dorm. It is beautiful leather couches. It is absolutely amazing. These students are so excited. Just so you know, there were 6 categories for them to apply for this contest, and I'll just read you the categories that they could select from. The literacy entry, photography, short film, choreography, visual arts, and music. And they had to have this all in by November 13th. The faculty worked really hard to select these individuals whose names I'm going to read now, but they're excited. I'm really excited because I'm definitely going to go, and I'm bringing my camera because I cannot wait to take pictures of our students over there in Normandy and really get to experience it with them. So Michael DiLorenza, he's one of our football players here that was selected. Savriar, he goes by Sonny. I'm so used to Sonny. Lazio. He's beyond excited that he was the one that showed me also all the pictures. He's on our football roster. Spiro Lampotis, he's in our top 15. Riley Haas, our valedictorian. Kelsey Neves, our salutatorian, and Matthew Baruso, who's going to be entering the Marines, so he's really excited. really to see a lot of veterans from not just the United States, but from all over. If any of you do have the opportunity to really watch the short film that we did show our students here, you really get to see firsthand how vets from all over the world come on this special day in D-Day, and they celebrate. And they celebrate the time with each other. So it's going to be for me probably something that I'll never, for me it's a life event. It's more than a bucket list. It was more than I ever anticipated. So I feel really blessed just to be a part of it. What I can tell you from meeting with the students last Friday, it's going to feel like a really long time until we get there because they're really excited. So we're planning, and they have a lot of questions which we have to get back to them on about what they wear. They are our ambassadors, so they will be presenting themselves, as they said, as truly young men and young women. Wearing nice clothes every day. They're going to be speaking to a lot of delegates and different officials, and we have quite a busy schedule, so it's very exciting. So I just wanted to recognize them tonight. Mr. DiClemente couldn't be here. He did want to say a couple words, but he's really excited as well.
Before we move on to the LVTV, which Roger, I don't know if you want to come up and speak to before we play it, but we do have a special guest in the audience, Mrs. Kathy Sora, who is the founder of Operation Democracy. And Operation Democracy is the reason why Pat and Legacy Sports found Locust Valley. So you, I believe, are also in the plannings for this week, and I know that the children are going to be ambassadors, and they are going to be participating in many historic events throughout their time there. And I believe that the chaperones are Mr. DiClemente and Mr. Gilbert. So they're all very much looking forward to it. But without Operation Democracy, I believe we're celebrating our 10th anniversary with Operation Democracy this spring. They have brought us Flags for Freedom, and that's a program that all of our seniors participate in and receive their very own American flag upon graduation, and the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. And that has always been through Kathy Sorof and Kay Wenninger at Operation Democracy. So I appreciate it. I'm gonna hand it over to Mr. Boucher or one of your students to kind of lead us in and just tell us what we're about to watch.
Thank you. Yeah, this LVTV episode was to date the longest episode that we had done, and this was such a spectacular event. The amount of hours that they put into putting this together was unbelievable. We had many hours of footage that we had to somehow find a way to coherently bring down to even this amazingly long episode. So I just thank you to the students for giving up all of your time. And
Yeah. So we apologize again. This is Bonaspina. I hope you're feeling better, but we're trying our best to do this justice. So.
So we'd like to recognize the students that are here that were able to help us out. Olivia Baker-Trieber. Sharon Bowden. Liam Groman. Reagan Khan. And Veronica Kapoor, who I don't believe was able to join us tonight. And here's the episode.
thank you again.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to LVTV. I'm Leanna Mora.
And I'm Olivia Baker-Schubert. Today we bring you with our biggest episode ever with extended coverage of our homecoming football game. This game was the first ever Remembrance Bowl and was played in the honor of the game that never happened.
In the fall of 1944, the Allied forces believed that World War II was nearing its end. To celebrate, soldiers from the 101st Airborne Division planned to share with their French ally one of the U.S. greatest pastimes, American football. However, another major conflict would catapult 10,000 men into the last major German offensive campaign, now known as the Battle of the Bulge. Sadly, this game was never played.
We begin our coverage on Thursday, September 21st, where Locust Valley hosted the Cold Spring Harbor football team for the inaugural assembly and jersey signing. Reagan Kahn and I were there to find more about this historical night.
So the Remembrance Bowl was an idea that was started by Patton Legacy Sports when they first found out about a football game that was supposed to have been played on Christmas Day in 1944. At that point in the war, in a little town called St. Mary-Gilles, the American soldiers thought the war was ending. They were kind of relaxing. Actually, they were down in the Champagne region, not St. Mary-Gilles at this point, and they thought the war was over. So they planned this phenomenal game because they couldn't get home for Christmas. And right before Christmas, a very bloody, gruesome battle came about called the Battle of the Bulge, and they got called back to war, and many of those soldiers never came home, and that game was never played. So Patton Legacy Sports thought it would be a wonderful idea to connect students and education through history, and especially by pulling it together with a sporting event that would pique the interest in young people.
How does it feel to see the Remembrance Bowl happen?
Reagan, this is a fantastic thing for me. It's like a dream come true, really, because I serendipitously rediscovered the history of Operation Democracy and Locust Valley and the first town liberated during the invasion of Normandy, Sainte-Mère-Église, in 2005. And the idea of bringing in the Remembrance Bowl and using sports to be the spoonful of sugar to bring young people into understanding this history is a fantastic thing. And the enthusiasm that I see here in Locust Valley High School, the school spirit, the patriotism in singing the national anthem and saying the Pledge of Allegiance, I have to say I haven't seen since the 1950s. So it's very important to me.
Why I made the film. I was in Normandy in 2005, and I was working on a film on some British veterans. While I was in St. Mary-Gilles, I met an 82nd Airborne paratrooper who jumped in there on the night of the D-Day invasion. And through him, I met Henri Jean Renaud, whose mother was the wife of the mayor of the town, and I found out about her story, how she took care of all the graves of the soldiers. And when I heard that story, I thought this has to be made into a movie. People need to know about this story.
How did you become a part of the Remembrance Bowl?
Okay, well, I'm from Sainte-Mère-Église in Normandy, which is a very it's a small town, but famous because it was the first city liberated by the American paratroopers on D-Day. And I'm the president of the Friends of the American Veterans Association, which was founded by my mother, who is called Mother of Normandy. And we got associated with Mrs. Kathy Soref for Operation Democracy from Locust Valley. And she let us know with Ellen Patton, the granddaughter of General Patton, that they were organizing this event here in your school. And so I was invited to come and participate in this event.
Why do you think the Remembrance Bowl is important, and where do you think it'll go?
Well, it's important that it's not just the football game per se, but I think it's all of the educational opportunities that lead up to it and the contact with the stories. We learned, we were really impressed today when we had the middle school kids, and they were saying they didn't know that Locust Valley was a big part of the relief effort after World War II and had such a big role in it. And when they discover this part of their history, it's part of their identity, I think that there's a sense of connectedness.
This game, yeah, which you're going to learn about, gives you an opportunity to step into the history live, to actually continue the legacy yourself by standing for those soldiers, but also soldiers who are fighting now, who can't play the game, who can't have a fun day because they are fighting for your freedom. And I think it's an opportunity for you to just be a part of it.
What was it like to be part of this big game, and what was it like to have the opportunity to plan it out and help with that?
So this whole experience has been unbelievable, right? Like, how lucky are we that we have this history with St. Mary Glise and we were asked to host this game. It has been nothing short of humbling and very, I'm proud. I'm proud to be here at Locust Valley. I'm proud to be a part of this.
After only being here for less than a year, how does it feel to be a part of such a historic game?
It's amazing, it's scary, but I have to tell you, we have an incredible Board of Education that has a vision for the children here, K through 12. They're all on the same team, and that's for Locust Valley children. And I feel like this is going to be just the best year, especially starting out with the Remembrance Bowl. So I'm just glad to be a part of it.
How does it feel to coach such an important game?
It feels great. It's a really big, really cool thing that our school gets to bring to the community. Something really fun for both teams.
I think it's an honor and a privilege, for myself, the boys and the coaches, to be part of a game like this with such rich history behind it. I think, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for ourselves and for the boys.
How does it feel to be part of such a significant game?
It feels very cool to be a part of a game like this, mainly because I know a lot of kids from Cold Spring Harbor, and for us to be playing in this awesome game that we're going to remember past high school, that we're going to remember when we're old, and we're far past our high school sports careers, we're going to look back to this game and know we were one of the first people to take part in something this cool, this stateside of this bowl, of this football game. It's just unbelievably cool.
Well, it's definitely totally different than every other game I've ever played, but we can't let it get to our heads. Definitely feels special to be playing such an important game.
It feels great. Knowing the significance behind what's going on feels really good.
It's a big opportunity to play in such a game like this, to honor all the veterans, and once in a lifetime. So I'm gonna give it all I got. Everyone's ready to go.
I think it's very important to be part of this big game, just bigger than football itself. Just kind of remember everything that everyone gave for us and everything that we have to offer in our game to remember what they gave to us.
Oh, this is really important for our team and Locust Valley. It's more than a game. We're playing for something bigger, and we're just playing for all those soldiers that weren't able to play in the football game that we are allowed to.
On Saturday, cold and rainy weather could not dampen the LV enthusiasm as we packed the stands for an exciting and emotional day. Let's take a look.
Locust Valley. You did it. You lived into your own legacy as sister city to Sainte-Mère-Église. The dream of Simone Renaud, when she laid that first flower on an American grave, is now being really fulfilled, of remembrance and honor and continuity. Knowing that these guys, these players, and all the spectators and cheerleaders have integrated history while playing the game, well, that would be golden to him.
Thank you to everyone involved in creating this once-in-a-lifetime event. It is truly something we'll remember forever. That's all for now. I'm Olivia Baker-Truber.
And I'm Leanna Mora. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on LVTV.
Job to the students of LVTV and the video and film classes. You guys really knocked it out of the park. I don't know if that's the one you sent, Roger. I feel like it was a different one, but I saw it. This one's unbelievable.
We're still editing.
Oh, we're still editing, okay.
So this was the bigger episode of the air.
Just so you all know, your video was shown up at NYSBA in Buffalo about a month ago, where Dr. Turner, Dr. Turnow, Mr. Anaya, Lauren Themis, and myself presented the entire curriculum and Remembrance Bowl to probably over 100 educators upstate, and your video was shown. Not the 11-minute version, but I think we did the 4-minute version that Mr. Boucher had sent over. But I think that it's really just an unbelievable talent you all have. I hope you grow with it and use it in your life. You're really all incredible. Thank you for making that.
Margaret,
Yes, Kathy.
this was also sent to the generals, to General Milley, to General Donahue, to General McGee, to General Lanive. I think we've got it, but they participated in the Remembrance Bowl in Sainte-Mère-Église for the past 2 years, and this is tremendously, tremendously inspiring for many people. So thank you everyone who participated. You did a great job. A great job.
Thank you, Kathy. Tom, you want a picture?
Yes.
Yes, the art students who are still here. Can we all get a nice picture? Oh, the LVTV kids, can you guys come up too, please? Kids can leave. We're going to move into the board reports. Audit committee. That's Matt, not here. Budget and finance committee.
No reports.
Curriculum committee.
Hi, good evening. The curriculum, we actually held a PR and a curriculum meeting on November 27th. The curriculum meeting, we had a bunch of our administrators and teachers join us. They presented the professional development plan and the academic intervention services plan for this year, which is, you'll find up for approval this evening. And we also spoke about the draft courses and the catalog that's going to be put into effect this coming year. I know our administrators are working very hard to see what they'd like to see for this coming year. And we're hopeful to have a presentation to the Board of Ed on any new classes and curriculum suggestions at the February meeting. So that'll be presented then. And I'll also just give a quick PR recap. In our previous budget meetings, we spoke about how we were able to get some more information out to the public. And so we're hoping in the January edition of our Sound Waves to feature some kind of in-depth information on how the budget planning process works, what to expect in this coming budget season, and really explaining to the community a little bit more of Budgeting 101. How are these things calculated? How are these things factored in? What do our rollover budgets look like? And really giving everybody a little bit of a crash course before we get into budget season. We also discussed our Apogee program, which we have. How are we using it? How can we be using it better? And really working to try and sync some of the communications that we provide district-wide across numerous apps and try and see how we can sync those. That's about it.
Facilities?
We did not meet this month, but we went earlier this week on a field trip, actually, organized by Margaret and Dr. Turnow. And we went over to Plain Edge School District to see a couple of their major projects, one of which was their high school cafeteria, and another was a health, wellness, and fitness center that they're expanding their current field house, basically, to serve at these additional purposes. And one of the major takeaways that I had, along with getting to meet another architect and see their crews working, because many of the projects were still, in process. The creativity that the district and their board put together in identifying capital projects. They're doing so without bonds, they're doing so within their budgets and their capital improvement budgets, and what sort of focused, hardworking individuals can get accomplished. And it was especially inspiring given, as Lauren said, as we head off into budget season. Eric, our head of facilities, and Tony and I, we're starting to work on different scenarios for what are the projects that we'll be presenting to all of you for the upcoming season, and hopefully we continue to move forward. Thank you.
Policy Committee, we have a first reading and a new business, so I'll defer to that. And Professional Development. Technology Committee.
Yes, we had a meeting in November with a bunch of teachers and administrators. We went over the difference. We went over the difference between the Apogee and using the Parent Square app for the district, which one was better. For the teachers and parents, everybody communicating. That was getting looked into right now. He's providing some bonus data to see which one was better for us. The Parent Square app, if we were to go with that, it's about $15,000 less for the year to use the app for communication. There also was discussion on what sixth graders should know going into middle school on how to use their Chromebooks, how to use Google Docs, how to make attachments, what is too much time on the Chromebook, what is just the right amount of time, and just trying to find that happy medium at the elementary level, the middle school, and the high school level to kind of sync and get all the kids where they need to be.
Thank you. Any other board reports? Any other trustees, comments? All right, unfinished business, there's none. New business, the first reading of policies. Laura, you want to come up?
Laura Dessner, Locust Valley. Good evening. I want to address the policies on tonight's agenda. Specifically, I wanted to discuss or comment on policy 2410. A lot of the language in the policy to involve as many relevant groups as reasonable during policy development has been taken from the policy. I'm asking that the board reconsider having relevant groups, and I actually mean that to read as community members, to continue to have the opportunity to be involved in the early stages of policy development. I feel our community has proven to have positive outcomes when the opportunity to be involved in the early stages of any ideas or plans. For example, when the community has been involved in budget roundtables, it has proven that many positive things have resulted. I feel the same can happen with policies as well. Removing this language gives the only opportunity for a community member to comment on a policy would be at a Board of Ed meeting. Policy 2410 is being revised that changes or abolish to an existing policy has only one reading will be needed. I'm asking that this also be kept possibly to a 2-reading policy as well. It is possible that community members may want the opportunity to comment on a change on a policy or one being abolished the same way a new policy is on the agenda. Furthermore, policy 2410, 5 bullet points have been added. The first being, quote, clearly define the school district's goals and objectives and reflect the Board of Educational view. I wanted to ask for some clarity on this because on your list of policies to be abolished, 8 of the 15 are policies that pertain to goals. And like community relation goals and student learning objectives and district instructional goals are 2 examples. So,
What piece of language? I'm on the page. What piece of language did you say?
Which one?
24.
So 2410,
Okay.
yes.
So, okay, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine, thank you. So it says that 8 of the 15 policies that pertain to goals, if you are, which I don't understand, if you are removing the goals and the policies, so on your list of the first ones, many of them are listing as goals. But you have in your bullet points, one of the first bullet points, that you are going to have a clarity that the board is going to use goals as a way to. So I guess I just don't understand, if you're taking away goals, how is that in the policy for 2410? I just don't understand how that works. If you're going to clearly define them. And also, lastly, policy 9130, it's not on your agenda, but it is in your packet. And I just wanted you to please note in the first paragraph, you have a typo that I feel that you should probably want to correct regarding the community that you mentioned. We don't have it. It's in the packet. It's online, that was published, that's the only way I could see it.
We don't have it.
You don't have none of even okay, you have it in your packet that you,
It's not in our copies.
oh,
Okay, that might be in an error. We'll check on it.
oh, okay, then when you check on it, there's a typo in it that you probably would want to look at. It is, the only way I would know it if it was.
Yeah,
You didn't get it up to the 9s.
yeah, no, we didn't get up to the 9s. What is the title? What's the title of it?
It is the,
Workplace violence.
the workplace violence.
Oh, that's a mandatory one, right?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
mandatory.
Mhm. Yeah, okay. I don't know why it's not in our packet.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's been a busy week. It's a busy week. I do want to just address with you, so we work with the lawyers, and the goals are not policies. So her advisement to us, and this is customary and it's in all the districts, goals do not belong in a policy book, because by law, the Board of Education needs to set their own goals every year. This board has not operated as such. The last time we made goals was a couple of years ago. We had COVID in between, and we had some transfer of power in between. It is something that's done every July at the reorg meeting. So this board put it on hold, and we will be doing a workshop probably in January or February, a small retreat. And that's where the goals are set every year, and then goals are assessed if we've met them. There are board goals, and then there are district goals, and the
So
superintendent has goals.
they just don't go in the policy
No,
handbook?
they don't go in the policy.
So then,
So
where do they end up, like if you're?
they are listed like on the website, yeah. on the website, they're
So that
posted
makes sense, 'cause
places,
they're like,
yes.
who you're talking about.
So it's, you know, fully transparent, but it's not something that is a one and done. So she basically said, that's why you see all of those goals, policies are being abolished, because it's the responsibility of the board, and, you know, it's their good governance to do it, and we're getting back on track to do that. The other piece is, you didn't mention it, but I did hear some feedback today, you know, why so many goals? So, why so many policies in one shot? We were audited 2018. We had a committee come into place 2019 and 2020. They moved very slowly in maybe 1 or 2 policies a year. In 2020, myself, Lauren Themis, and Sean Steele, with the help very much so of Susan Hammerschmidt, who is a policy guru, we went through an entire series in addition to ones that we had missed along the way. Because if you're not constantly working on your policy, the state is constantly coming down with mandated and or guidance or recommended policies. So we had a bunch that we had gone through. I don't remember how many off the top of my head.
We did 2 full series.
We did 2 full
and
series.
Parts of other series.
Yes, so we did a tremendous amount of work from 2021 to basically last January. Last January, when we had an interim superintendent, we put this on the back burner. So now we're starting up again, and we're going through the ones that are easy, and sometimes they're already in another policy. There's a ridiculous amount of redundancy. That's what our auditors had told us.
I see that you covered, you're taking
Yes.
some out, and because it's covered in another.
Yes, and there are, you know, there's a ridiculous amount of redundancies. One of the comments that Michelle gave us in the back was the wording isn't always the same, so that's something we're going to streamline wording, such as superintendent of schools or just superintendent. I know it sounds silly, but our policy book should be clean, concise. We shouldn't have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of policies. We should have very well written, pertinent policies, and policies that are current. So the acceptable use policy, the reason why it's actually new this time around is because the last time it was looked at in this district was 2006. There was wording in there with CD-ROMs and discs. I was afraid we were going to see like microfiche popping up.
And yet there are QR codes.
And well, yes, we did the QR codes, yes. So, you know, there's just a whole host of new technology that was not mentioned in that. We had the suggestions from 2018, which, believe it or not, are already outdated in technology, from NISBA. And then when we sat with the lawyer, she said, listen, I'm just going to rewrite a new one because it's basically now like the house that Jack built. Like, we're adding in and putting in. She said, let's make a good, clean policy that's strong and well-versed. So that's why that policy is new. It's not, we've always had an acceptable use policy. This is just the new and updated version, and it was just easier than slashing the other one apart, which was really poorly written. I think they had pieces in it that didn't even belong in acceptable use, which now are going to go into other policies, and you may not see all of the pieces right away in other policies because we didn't get to those policies yet. But there's a method to the madness, so if there's a piece that came out of acceptable use that needs to go in another policy, that's the next policy that you're going to see up here. And you'll see abolished from here, and taken from, you know, there and put into here. Excuse me, put into here. I think the first question that you asked about the word changing, we will absolutely bring it back to committee and have a conversation about it. The other piece that you brought up was the first reading versus the second reading.
Yes, because you had it where
So
an
that
existing
came from legal.
policy,
Yes.
yeah, so first reading, new policies
Yes.
will get a 2 reading.
So she suggested that.
Okay.
We're not going to die on that sword. It's not. It's what they have been doing, and I guess seeing in other districts. The benefit for us is we can move through faster. We can move through the ones that are, you know, not pertinent.
Some of them
And some of them are mandated, like the voter registration.
I understand.
You know.
The only reason I mention it is like sometimes when you do also get rid of or change, it could be something, now maybe not always, but there's always going to be that off chance that could be a policy that possibly may have a community, you know, want to discuss, maybe they don't want to. It was just
Right.
more, I understand that's more of a
Yeah.
broader stroke to one. But, you know, that's why I mentioned it, only because there's such a distinction between, you know, the existing and the new. So,
I will mention too, we've had numerous occasions where we've brought policy to the board meetings. We've had feedback sometimes on a second read, and we said, wait a second, we'll bring it back to committee. So I don't necessarily know if it would prohibit people from having public conversation. The board has always been welcome to, even on a first or sometimes second read, say, hey, let's bring it back.
We did it
And we'll
last
put it back up again in a, you know, in a new form.
And there are committee meetings. I think the next one is January 4th. I don't remember the time. They're open to the public.
Thank you.
So you're absolutely welcome to come to that as well. And you know, really the goal of the policy committee with the board is to get a working, updated, functional policy book. It's 11:30 a.m. on January 4th at Central Admin. And there's one every month, but it's not always on the same day of the month, so yeah. But that's really the goal here, and it's a very daunting task, you know, when you have a series and you have, you know, 50 or 60 policies within a series, and like I said, they kind of sometimes scaffold on each other. And there was one that we looked at, or that she gives an example of, where we literally found it in like 7 different policies, like one piece of something, and she said, this is ridiculous. It has to be clean, it has to be concise, and it has to be organized. And because that's how this continuum of governance is gonna be successful. Not when we're not here and the next people come in, and then they look at the ones that we didn't look at from 5-10 years ago, you know, because we're not looking at all of those. We're looking at the ones, we've got some in there from the 90s. So, 1992. So our policy book needs a lot of work, and you know, we have the best interest of the students and the staff, and you know that we do have to comply to a lot of mandated policies. So sometimes we have no choice. But I appreciate that you looked. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
possibly reconsidering.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And I think what's most important, and I'm speaking from, you know, being in several different administrative roles, as an administrator, that's where we look to support. So, example, right, cell phone use. So, as an administrator, when we update these policies, then what we do as the administrative team up in central office is we help the building leaders, right, and the coordinators know the policies and then start to obviously, you know, take it from paper to actually practice. So they're really important, and we appreciate people's feedback. I mean, you've all been so kind to give me examples of what you see, and that's why when we have those committee meetings, we're really listening as far as what can we do to support our parents, because many times parents come forward and they say, geez, I mean, all of you spoke very loudly. We don't want as much technology, especially in the lower grades. We really want, and those are things that are really important to us. And when we sit and talk about them and we make them policy, it gives us the legs also that our administration can use to say, no, this is what we all decided upon. This is a really good policy. So please join us.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laura. And thank you for waiting. You see, which is more better this way.
That was more appropriate anyway. It was like so weird to
No,
be like,
thank you.
hey,
Thank
policy,
you.
have a policy.
Thank you.
Didn't seem like it went anyway.
Perfect.
All right, consent agenda. So bear with us because we have to add a couple of latecomers onto the consent agenda. I need a motion to add the following motion of to the BOE agenda for action at the December 13th, 2023 BOE meeting. Be it further resolved that Jennifer Farrell is, I read it before with his handwriting, is hereby granted a leave of absence from her teaching position while serving as interim elementary principal. Can I have a motion? Michelle, seconded by Lauren. Okay. I'm just going to do all the consent agenda motions and then we'll do consent agenda.
Right.
Okay.
Can we vote on that?
Okay, sorry, all in favor? It's unanimous? Okay. No, I just need it That was for her
Well,
leave.
this was for her appointment.
For her appointment.
He said you didn't
No
need it.
resolutions needed, okay.
Because I have the authority
Okay.
to make.
I need a motion to add the following motion to the BOE for action at the December 13th, 2023 BOE meeting. Be it resolved that Peter Scordo is herewith appointed as Interim Director of Human Resources for the Locust Valley Central School District for a term commencing on December 13th, 2023 and ending on January 31st, 2024. And be it further resolved that the President of the Board of Education of Locust Valley School District is herewith authorized to enter into an employment agreement between Peter Scordo and the Locust Valley Central School District respecting his appointment as Interim Director of Human Resources, a copy of which is attached to this resolution. And I have a motion, Holly, seconded by Michelle. All in favor? Unanimous? And the last one is, this one, the motion. Okay. Be it resolved that the President of the Board of Education is authorized to execute a certain agreement between the district and Allison Dunn, and be it further resolved that Allison Dunn is appointed as District Clerk effective January 1st, 2024. Can I have a motion? Michelle, George, all in favor? Unanimous? All right, consent agenda. Any questions? Can I have a motion? George, Michelle second. All in favor? It's unanimous. No, you passed it. So the consent agenda, everything is fine, right? Everybody's in? Okay. All right. And is there another public comment? Anybody else? All right. I'd like to personally wish everybody a beautiful holiday season. I hope you spend time with your family and count blessings and really remember what this time of year is about with your family and your friends, and be grateful for your health and happiness. And I wish you all a beautiful, beautiful season, no matter what you celebrate. May you all have love. All right? Happy New Year. Motion to adjourn. You want to do it, Susan? It's like the clap out. All right. Unanimous. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.